What's happening? Doing some picks and previewing the upcoming PFL card for this Friday. Yeah, Friday. Got my homie, super fan of PFL. It's Big Red. You know him. You love him. How you doing there?
Pretty good. Not medium, not small.
There you go. Love to hear it. What are you thinking? You excited for this PFL card on Friday?
Anytime that Imp is on, I'm always excited.
Oh yeah.
I also don't
Uh,
believe in Fabian Edwards, so I would like to see him lose, if at all
yeah.
possible.
Yeah, I predict a lot of clinching from Fabian Edwards.
This is
But yeah, I think the card as a
no
whole
entertainment value.
yeah, I think the card as a whole looks really good though. Got Mads Burnell, Josh Silvera, Sadabusi, former $1 million winner as well.
Yeah, play
The fight,
collards are always entertaining too.
yeah, yeah. Even if he's maybe
Getting
a little
knocked out
washed,
in boxing out of nowhere.
right?
I was just watching an event like 2 years ago, and he just like fighting some Cuban like prospect on boxing in like a random. It wasn't even like a top rank. It might have been top rank, but he just shows up there and gets blasted. But it's always entertaining.
Yeah, you got lots of good names.
He's no weenie. He's not afraid to take a punch. I'll tell you that.
100%. I feel like with the PFL too, like it's weight class dependent, and I feel like a lot of their bigger names are in the middleweight division right now. But yeah, man, let's get into the picks on this card. So,
right on.
First up is Robert Watley versus Tony Caruso. This is for the alternate. Watley is 15-3, 35 years old, from Charlotte Hall, Maryland. Tony Caruso is 10-2 from Adelaide, 34 years old. So neither of these guys obviously well known. I think both of them have had a PFL fight, lost them. Yes, actually, Watley has 3 PFL fights. He's lost to Chris Wade. Pretty damn good name, but that was a long time ago. Since then, he's been on a roll in CFFC. Took a little layoff. Tony Caruso, on the other hand, did fight in one championship, had mixed results, 1-1. He beat Anthony Romero 2 years ago in the PFL. He's been reduced to the regional scene, but he's been taking fights in boxing recently, and he did get a knockout in one of those fights. So he's 1-1 in boxing. For my money, I'm going to go Robert Watley. I just don't know if this guy, Tony Caruso, is super focused on MMA. And then again, Watley having success in CFFC gives me hope for him. But he hasn't been fighting the best competition on CFFC. So I think you could take it or leave it. I definitely wouldn't bet on this fight.
Yeah, I'm taking Watley. Watley has a win over Brandon Jenkins, who's a UFC veteran, which is a good win. And besides beating that guy, is Folion that lost to Eddie Alvarez's, I think, only win in one championship. His best win is against a guy that's 9-2 in a promotion called Solid as a Rock. It's 24, so not exactly the best competition as far as his wins are concerned.
Right.
Watley also has a win over what was his name? Let me go back to that. He has a win over who was it? Thiago Tavares, which is a good win. And
looks like he kicked him in the dick to win that fight, though.
What?
I think if you look on the record, it says he kicked him in the dick to win that fight. By the way,
but he was winning the fight. Did you watch the fight though?
I didn't.
I think he was winning the fight. I think he was gonna go. I mean, he won the first round at least, in my opinion.
Okay, got it.
Plus, I mean, if he's been finished once with a submission loss. He's never been knocked out, and if his opponent's been focusing on boxing, he doesn't have knockout power. I don't know if you noticed. He's got two finishes by one knockout in his career.
Yeah.
So he gets most of his wins by submission. I mean, it does play into the fact that Watley doesn't get finished much, and I don't think that he's going to get finished here. I'm taking Watley.
All right, good stuff. Oh, and shout out to Isha. He says, "Yo, Big Red." Good to see you,
No, what's
Isha.
up, Peter? How you doing?
Uh, Odie Delaney and a few others and fighting there right now. What? This is a cryptic message there from No Chill. PFL 2025 been decent so far. I totally agree with you. And actually, PFL's been doing really well. Like I think their business side of it and like their out of the cage stuff aside, like PFL has been delivering a pretty good product as of late.
They have. They've always done it. I'm telling you, PFL. You guys sleep on PFL, man. It's good. It's good production quality. It got money behind it. You know what I mean? It's got longevity. The incentive to watch towards $1 million tournament. That's a good. It's a good reason to watch. You know. Am I biased? Sure. Have I been to like 5 or 6 events? Sure. Did I watch some people win $1 million live and see Lewis Taylor knock out what's his name, Magomed, and watch his whole family tear up and cry and change his life? And I was sitting with them. Yeah, I did. Did that pull on my heartstrings? Fuck yeah, it did. But you know, it's good. It's a good product. It's just a good product.
Again,
it's not like they don't have good fighters. They have talent
right.
in the promotion. They got names in there.
Yeah, it's just the marketability and all the weird like tournament shit and the no elbows thing. Obviously, they got the elbows in there now, which is important. No Chill
Yeah.
says he was talking about Solid as a Rock FC. It's the best Alaskan promotion. Okay, dude. I'm so glad No Chill joined because just to tell us that because No Chill knows about these random regional promotions.
He
Good
clicked
shit.
on it. He clicked on it. I clicked on it too, but I didn't give you the Alaska fact pattern. Like I just had that in the chamber. You didn't have that in the chamber.
Also, 91% of Topology is picking Watley. So, yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Next fight will be Aaron Jeffrey versus Murad Ramazanov. Aaron Jeffrey, 15-5, 3-2 in his last 5. His last win is over Douglas Lima, who's pretty washed, but he's plus 160 as the underdog out of Canada. Shout out to Isha, 32 years old. Ramazanov, 12-2. Only 2 losses are to Shamil. What is his damn name? Musayev. He is minus 210 as the favorite. He's actually 2-1 in his last 5. 12-2 is his record. He's fighting out of Russia. He's 29 years old. So Ramazanov is the guy who famously nutshotted Roberto Soldic in his one championship debut.
Yep.
Aaron Jeffrey been a solid fighter in Bellator. He's actually gotten some upset wins that I didn't like. When he knocked out Vanderford, that was pretty impressive. Losing a decision to John Salter.
You've seen Vanderford's done so far in the UFC.
Right.
He had a really good performance in the UFC. He's beaten Fabian Edwards as well. Like
Yes.
it's called what's his name? Austin Vanderford beat Fabian Edwards. So
Yep.
to get that knockout's a good
Solid
win. And then Douglas Lima is a really good win. Even though Douglas Lima is about 500 years old, Douglas Lima beating him in any capacity is impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem with Douglas Lima now is he just doesn't get up from takedowns. So I actually think, and Aaron Jeffrey's last loss was to Fabian Edwards. A lot of clinching going on there. But I actually think this is like one of the harder fights to pick on the card. I think that the well-roundedness of both of these fighters is going to cancel out, and it's just going to come down to who's the better wrestler. And I got Murad Ramazanov, but the only thing that is I think Aaron Jeffrey is actually dropping down a weight class for this tournament. We'll see how that affects him moving forward, but I am going to pick Ramazanov by decision in this one. I don't think that Ramazanov finishes Aaron Jeffrey because he is tough as nails, but I am going to pick him to at least win 2 rounds.
You know what makes me have pause for picking Ramazanov is Aaron Jeffrey has a win over Andre Petrosky in the UFC. He's 8-2, by the way, in the UFC. Petrosky is, and Petrosky is a wrestler and grappler to its core. I mean, I don't know if you watched his last fight, but that's exactly how he comes out and wins. And he was able to negate that and then get a finish over him. And I remember the fight too. So I I couldn't tell you whether or not Petrosky's grappling has really gotten that much better since that fight. That it's that decisive. But if he's able to finish Petrosky and negate that wrestling, I think at that point in his career, he should be able to do the same here. I'll take the upset.
There you go. Yeah, I want to pick Jeffrey, but I gotta go Ramazanov. But I'm going to be rooting for him. Isha says
It's gonna
PFL has
be
been better.
terrible if there's a clip now that where I pick a Canadian to win a fight and upset, and then he gets smoked. I'm going to look like a fool. This is live too, and Isha's not going to let me live that down. Nor
No,
should he.
he
'Cause I
never
have a
will.
million Canadian jokes. Yeah.
PFL has been better. Love the elbows, and now the tournament. I've been salty since they robbed Rory Big Red. No Joe taught me about Swamp FC. Shout out to Swamp FC. Are we watching BFL tomorrow? I think so. I'm pretty sure Isha will be doing a fight companion for that, so I'll be there. Jeffrey about to get out grappled, and he is not the best boxer, so this will be tough. I think Aaron Jeffrey's decent in stand up. Just I think Ramazanov's gonna. But again, I do want Jeffrey to win. Also, I think that the determining factor here will be if Jeffrey has the mullet or not. He's got the mullet. He's getting the dub. Maybe let me
It's
live
at
bet
least
that.
a 60 or 70% power boost minimum.
Yeah. Listening as I work, but Caps about to win the cup again. Big Red LFG. Hell yeah. There you go.
You fucking right, Isha. You fucking right.
Ramazanov
Let him
has
know.
a win over Ruzaboyev. Okay. Damn. I mean, I've never liked Ramazanov since he nut-shotted Soldich on his one championship debut. Always hate him for that. He does have a win over Kazakhstan too, who's pretty good. Which, by the way, that's another guy in Chachi jail we'll probably never ever see again until a Thai needs to beat him in Muay Thai. Next fight is Brent Primus versus Vinicius Sensi. You think that's how you say his name? Brent Primus, old as the day is wide. He's 15-4. 3-1-1 his last 5. I think that loss is to Usman. That one no contest is a loss to Usman Nurmagomedov, but I think he popped or something.
Yeah.
He is minus 660 as the favorite. 40 years old. Sensi is 8-2. 4-1 his last 5, plus 420 as the underdog. He's 29. I mean, Brent Primus just got knocked out 4 months ago to Gadzi Rabadinov, who is fighting higher up the card. He's fighting this guy, Sensi, who doesn't have any high-level experience. UAE Warriors is where his last win was, but he lost to Sam Patterson via RNC on the Contender Series. I don't know, man. I'm picking Primus, and I think I'm even going to
in that fight too, by the way. Yeah, Contender Series fight. He got dominated in Contender Series fight too, by the way.
Right. And I think I'm going to pick him by sub, but, I don't really know anything about Sensi. The guy doesn't have a lot of high-level experience. So seems like a really strange matchup, and it honestly seems to me like this is PFL matchmaking at its best. Get Brent Primus the win is the goal in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I want to bet against Brent Primus, and if they'd given me somebody who had some knockout power, I probably would have picked them just regardless, because I could just see Brett Primus getting smoked by somebody on the feet that he just shouldn't be on paper. But
Right.
he's never lost by sub. Primus is never been submitted, and it's most of his wheelhouse. So if the guy that he's fighting has literally won, what is it? It is 75% of his fights by submission, and also lost both of his fights or 2 of his 3 fights by submission. Actually, it's both of them. Yeah. So his best weapon is probably not something that he's going to be able to get over Primus. And Primus has fought some people. The guy's got some fights against some people that can submit, and he's not going to get submitted by them. I don't think he's getting submitted by this guy. And so I don't know. I got Primus to win. I got this fight sucking. This fight's gonna suck. It'll suck.
Primus,
It'll be a complete snore fest. They'll probably just have some some grappling exchanges here and there. Primus will probably get into side control and then try to take mount. The guy will give up his back, and then Primus will probably flatten him out, rear naked choke. You know, the best thing we could hope for is that Primus gets reversed, broken ankled, like he against Chandler, how he got that first
Right.
win over Chandler, and still didn't he get dropped? I watched that fight live, and he got dropped by a one-legged Chandler and almost ended up losing until the doctor stepped in and was like, yeah, I mean, if he just continued to just like kind of circle around, he can't really get to you. So gonna have to call this one.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the best you're gonna get. What are you gonna get instead? Not much.
Big Red is not a fan of Brent Primus. Jeffrey has some crazy dog, but historically, guys like Sean Brady and Brendan Allen grapple F. Aaron. Yeah, but he's gotten better in the wrestling, but again, it is against Douglas Lima in his last fight, so that's not hard to out wrestle a unwilling to get up Douglas Lima. Cool show for the PFL. Everyone wish me well with scoring with the slots. All right, best of luck.
Are you saying that you're playing slots online?
Yeah, I'm like, best of luck, buddy. Best of luck.
Yeah. Those are designated for you to lose.
Good to see you, though, Sean. I don't know if Murad is really on that level. I don't either. All my homies hate Brent Primus. Says No Chill. Fight like a giant trash bag full of glue, snuggling opponent's legs in the guard camping. Fuck. That clay collared fight had me so pissed. Primus gonna body triangle this guy. Hope he gets wheel kicked like Bobby Green. Oh my god.
Hey, No Chill. If this guy who has one knockout win wheel kicks, it lands a wheel kick and drops, doesn't even have to finish Primus. If he drops him or even chicken dances him with a wheel kick in that fight, I will personally send you a Louis Vuitton laptop bag, brand new, on the house. If that happens, you're talking about a guy who's got one KO win, and I don't even know where it supposedly is, or I guess two.
Maybe it was
one.
FC.
He's got one, and I don't even know where it is on his record.
It was probably in Swamp FC or Samurai Fight House.
It's the one labeled win.
Yeah, I think this is I think the PFL's favoring Brent Primus, giving him an easy fight. Next fight is
he's
Josh
got the star
Silveira.
power to protect. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. They seem to like him. I don't understand it either, honestly. Next fight is Josh Silveira versus Mike Shipman. Hold on, we got a comment. Big Red knows what's up. Primus fights like made of steam engines. Like he's made of steam engine gears. He's a fucking old car from the 1930s. Next fight is Josh Silveira versus Mike Shipman at 185 pounds. Josh Silveira 13-4. He is minus 260 as the favorite. He is 2-3 in his last 5. 32 years old. Mike Shipman 17-4. 4-1 in his last 5, plus 195 as the underdog. He is 34 from England. To me, you got 57% of pickers on Tapology picking Shipman. I don't really understand it. I wonder if it's because Silveira now on a 2-fight losing streak. Those 2 losses are to Rob Wilkinson and Impa Kasagany, though. And before that, his last loss was to Impa as well. I got faith in Josh Silveira, and I always have. But I don't know if he's doing as well, like, in the PFL. Like, he's not living up to his potential so far, but he is getting tough fights against really the best that PFL has to offer. That's who he's losing to. Mike Shipman, on the other hand, decent fighter. Got a win over Charlie Ward in Bellator. I think that's pretty decent. Other than that, I don't really understand why a lot of Tapology guys are picking Shipman. Silveira dropping down from light heavyweight. I think he's going to have just the strength advantage in this one. He's pretty well-rounded as well. I'm going to go Silveira by decision, but I am hoping that he can impress and kind of come back in a big way because, like I said, he's not living up to the hype so far.
Was there a bunch of hype for him?
I personally was really hyped for him coming out of LFA. I thought he looked really good. So yeah, I just think he's looked pretty average so far in the PFL.
Yeah, especially because I mean, unfortunately, he's got 2 wins by injuries to his
Right.
opponents, which kind of just is deflating. You didn't really get to see how those ones would play out. I'm not going to put too much stock into the Charlie Ward win. Isn't it the guy who like got knocked out by face plant against when he was in the UFC? Am I mixing him up? Yeah, but against Bafanda, right? The guy who had the two puffball, yeah, he had two puffballs in, and he had two like powder puff girl puffballs in, and he got slammed on his face and knocked out in the UFC. Yeah, that happened. And then his other UFC fight was against um Razak Al Hassan, I think, and then he got knocked out in like a minute. So I can't put too much stock into that. Other
You
than
know,
that,
I was mixing him up with Brendan Ward.
no, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Charlie Ward sucks. He got face planted. And I'm pretty sure that he's also, isn't he the guy that won, I think he won his fight, and then McGregor jumped into the ring to celebrate with him, and then what's his name? Mark Goddard or somebody like told him to get out, and then McGregor like pushed him. Do you remember that whole thing?
Is that the guy? I do remember that.
I think that was him.
McGregor fought fucking Mark Goddard after one of
Yeah,
his
like pushed him,
giant
but yeah,
wins.
pushed him, but like didn't move him. Yeah. Yeah, I just can't put too much stock into that. And then like besides that, it just doesn't have any real wins. I gotta go with Silveira, and honestly, he's lost like Silveira's lost all of his fights by decision, and the guy he's fighting is only really ever won by finish. He's not gonna, if he didn't get finished by Kasagany twice. Like he didn't get finished, but
Rob
I
Wilkinson was a
think
split.
yeah, he split against Wilkinson. Amari Madoff, as much as like he's not like great. He still fought in the UFC. You're not gonna get finished by those guys. You're not gonna get finished against Mike Shipman. So, and if Shipman's that's his path to victory, I'm not seeing that. I got Silveira.
Kiwi says, "Why does Hank have Maori tattoos? Does he? Did he change up his look? He's trying to rebrand."
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
All right. Next fight is Clay Collard versus Alfie Davis at 155. Clay Collard, 25-14, 1-5 in his last, 1-4 in his last 5. Sounds like he should fight Michael Chandler. He's minus 135 as the favorite, 32 years old. Alfie Davis, 17-5-1. He is 3-1-1 in his last 5. He's 33. So this is a pick 'em on the odds. Alfie Davis was on a pretty good win streak in Bellator till he got subbed by Mansour Barnawi, who's a pretty good fighter. As we were kind of talking about before we started picking, like Clay Collard is always in a good fight, win, lose, or draw. But yeah, man, I mean, he last knocked out Patricky Pitbull a year ago, and he lost the decision to Brent Primus. Alfie Davis is not a guy that has really a good win over like anybody ever. But you know what? He's done his job. He's been a decent fighter in Bellator, helping them out on those UK cards that they did so much before they went under. Wonder why. But yeah, man. Shit. This one is a pick 'em rightfully on the odds. The biggest question here is how washed is a 32-year-old Clay Collard?
Man, I you know what my prediction is for this fight? I predict a double knockdown. I think that there's gonna be a double knockdown. Two guys are gonna land punches at the same time. They're both gonna drop, and then they're both gonna have to get up and recover. Collard recovers a little quicker because he's been there plenty of times before. and he hops on it and maybe gets the ground and pound win. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I think that Clay Collard could outdog Alfie Davis, but I feel like if Alfie Davis doesn't take over early, it's like I feel like he has to be on a roll in a fight to have success. Clay Collard can fight back, from a deficit. So I'm just gonna go with all reliable, not so much because he is 1-4 in his last 5. But I am gonna pick Clay Collard here, probably against my better judgment by decision. What is your official pick?
My official pick. I mean, Clay Collard. The way that I see Clay Collard losing this fight would be by getting knocked out, and like his opponent hasn't gotten a knockout since like 2018 or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
against a guy who had no fights and a debutante was his last knockout. So I don't see that happening. And I mean, Collard's not very good on the ground, but then again, his opponent hasn't really shown much there either. I like his last fight he got submitted, as a matter of fact. So I don't know. It's weird. What's so weird to me is like Clay Collard, and he beat Shane Burgos, and Shane Burgos was just coming off the UFC and like was competitive in the UFC at that point, and he left the UFC winning, I'm pretty sure. And then he lost immediately to Clay Collard, and then Clay Collard goes and loses to Brett Primus and Mads Burnell right afterwards. Like, what happened? I don't get that. But then he, I can't put too much stock in him knocking out Patricky Pitbull. I mean, Patricky Pitbull he's
get or
washed.
get got.
Yeah, he didn't get finished by Oliver Aubin Mercier. So that's something. Yes. But his fight against Burgos is close enough for me to be like, it's within the last 18 months or so. I think that he'll get the win, just outdog him. He's not going to get knocked out by Alfie Davis, and Alfie Davis doesn't have the submission game. Collard, I think he wins that one.
What's up, Aaron Tats?
A little bit biased.
Yeah,
I'm a little biased.
Is Clay Collard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiwi says the Peckerwood has. Oh, he said honky. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I think that a lot of fighters get those like tribal tattoos on their arm. It's like to hide punches, like the feints and stuff. I don't know. It's just what I've heard. We were just talking about how awesome Clay Collard is. WMC says no way. That's Big Red. Hell yeah, Big Red's my homie. You didn't know?
Yeah, Western Mass. Yeah, he's coming up to DC in a month. He's gonna come see me, and we're hanging out.
That's right. Little Potato, Idaho, taking a trip to the big city. We're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna show him how to use a light switch, y'all. I'm gonna show him how a light switch works. He doesn't know.
Yeah, I've never heard of a fucking light switch before.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up in a car, and he's gonna be like, "Wow, whoa, hold on, Nelly, whoa."
Where's the horse?
That's a beautiful horse. Is she a thoroughbred?
It's funny.
This is a car. This is a car, buddy. They need cars now. I know that you took a carriage here.
Every single time I talk to Big Red, this fucking guy mogs me for living in Idaho. He says that I live in the Oregon Territory, not Idaho.
Yeah, there's still people doing the Trail of Tears where you're at.
God damn it.
Don't get absorbed by a tumbleweed on the way here. That's all we need.
It's not easy, but we have our ways to defend against them. Tat says, I remember when Collard got beat up by Holloway because the fight was hyped because they were both in their early 20s. Damn, dude, that's way beyond
I remember watching that live. Yeah, I watched it live.
No Chill says, Collard is the adult version of Nico Ollie Walsh. Colored by nationality. There you go. I'm a little late, but I mean, hey, good to see you, Dirty Hippo. Big Red, if Peckerwood wins via wheel kick, I'll do the Haka dance. No.
Who the fuck is Peckerwood?
It's freaking the guy that Brent Primus is fighting.
That guy. Why are you calling him Peckerwood? First of all, isn't that that's like a? I
thought that was a name for white guys.
For like white people, and he's fighting a Brazilian.
Oh wait, is he? I think maybe Kiwi was talking about Shipman. Anyway, that's funny. Peckerwood. Idaho Potato Man. Yes, that's me. Feeding carrots to a bus. No, I won't be feeding any carrots to buses, but
Yeah. No,
I might need some help with
he'll
that.
be doing it with a car. I don't drive a bus, but he'll be doing it to my car. He'll say, "Does she bite?
Really?
Does she bite?" And I'll say, "No, she doesn't bite. It's an automobile. It's an automobile." And he'll stand
Tat
behind the
says,
exhaust. He'll stand behind the exhaust and go, "Oh." Oh.
Aaron Tat says, take Idaho to see the black Israelis up in DC.
The what?
The black Israelites?
I don't know. I don't know. You're supposed to
That's what
translate
he
your
said.
chat
I'm
for
just
me. They're
reading
speaking gibberish.
God damn it. Wendigo skatesman? What? Damn
dude,
it,
dude, your chat is literally speaking tongues right now. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
go.
agree. They do that. They do that. I have to decipher it.
Let's just
It's
move
like
past it. We'll figure it out. Though, if they want to give us
I'm used to it
the
though, because
rundown.
every time I have to go over a bridge, I have to answer a riddle here in Idaho. Because that's just the fair. We don't have tolls.
Yeah.
We got
You guys have bridges.
answer
You
it.
guys don't even have a body of water.
Dude, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, what do you have to build a bridge for? To get from one canyon to the other?
Yes,
Maybe.
exactly that.
Jesus
Actually,
Christ, y'all don't even have water out there.
Evil Knievel was here in the '80s, and he like jumped the Snake River Canyon, and that was like how it was
you guys are still
advertised.
getting the royalties from that ever since.
But all he did was he got shot out of a cannon into the Snake River Canyon. It was kind of a ripoff, honestly.
So he got shot out of a canyon into a canyon into a canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing a riddle at me? Are you doing a joke? Is this a bit?
God damn it! All right,
I bet you they still have signs all over the place, like 32 miles to Evil Knievel's canyon stunt.
Yeah,
And they're still handing out brochures to this day. Yeah, they probably built a whole what's it called? A whole town
memorial.
No, there's a whole working town. Yeah, they people moved in and they set up base camp.
It's called Knievel,
it's like a coal mining town, but for like the stunt instead, and it's like still operates to this day. It still has saloons and everything.
Wendigo is a native legend around Oregon and other American Indian. I've never heard of that. I have to look it up though.
He's from Idaho.
Mads
You know
Burnell
how far
versus JJ
Oregon
Wilson.
is from there? That's probably like 3 days on at least. No, it's probably like a week and a half by carriage.
I mean, I used to go to Oregon all the time to buy weed. It's 50 miles.
It's just like 3.5 days by carriage.
It takes an hour to get there, buddy.
Yeah. When you get blown back by tumbleweeds, and you have you have to shoot over canyons out of cannons. Apparently, so I don't know. You guys don't have bridges. Name one bridge. Anyways,
the Perrine Bridge over the Snake River Canyon in Twin Falls.
No, you had to get over it by a cannon. You guys don't have the cannon anymore.
Dude, it's a massive bridge. People fucking base jump off of it all the time.
Yeah, they're base jumping. They're not getting to the other side.
Yeah,
what is a base jump?
We have cars here, I swear. All right,
dude, you don't have a bridge.
I all these states, you fucking dickhead.
Oh, so you have a cannon that's big enough to shoot your car over there? No, you don't have a bridge. So what are you trying to tell me right now?
No, the bridge is like halfway.
By the way, you're doing the Oregon Trail.
Shoots you
Imagine
over.
you're doing you're trying to get over to the gold. You're on the gold rush, right? And you run into a canyon in Idaho, and you're like, "Well, fuck! How do I get past this? What do you do?
You get shot out of a cannon. I mean, how hard is this to understand?
I mean, yeah, but they don't. I mean, yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, that's probably the solution. That's where it came from.
Sometimes you ride a tumbleweed over.
Well, okay, yeah, I was actually gonna say it might be tumbleweeds. Maybe they've accumulated at the bottom where they've formed a surface. They formed a surface at the top of the canyon. But that's not really didn't Evil Knievel kind of take that stunt then? Because you guys were already doing it. You're already living that. That was daily life. It's like, I mean, it's not even evil. It's like, it's like moral Knievel. That's fake. That's not even a real stunt.
Every
Not
time
when
we
that's
talk
the
about
league of
tumbleweeds,
life.
I just think about the Twilight Zone episode where all the tumbleweeds like killed that guy and his girlfriend.
You know, I've kept that one in the holster.
You're just waiting to pull it out.
Yeah, but I didn't think you would even know it, so I'm just kind of sad now.
That's like one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. The
Well, I
tumbleweeds murder
imagine
that
because
dude.
you probably knew some of those
God
tumbleweeds.
damn it.
You probably knew them personally.
Yeah, I did. Good guys, those tumbleweeds.
Yeah, I
Mads
know they got
Burnell
lore. You got
versus
families.
versus JJ Wilson.
Yeah, you know the grandson.
Mads Burnell, 20-6. He's 4-1 in his last 5. Plus 115. It's a pick 'em. He's from Denmark, 31. Shout out to Degenerate Dane, my homie. JJ Wilson, 10-1. 4-1 in his last 5 as well, minus 145 as the favorite. I guess this isn't a pick 'em. He's 27. So JJ Wilson has been another one of those guys from Bellator that's just been decent. Doesn't have wins over anybody too good. His only loss is the Gadzi Rabadinov. This dude's just whooping everybody up. Actually, he did beat Mansour Barnawi, which is actually a damn good win. Mads Burnell, though, just vet, always in it. I'm a big fan of Mads Burnell. He doesn't always win. Impressive. Like, he doesn't have a lot of power. So he gets into like these just scraps with people. And sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses, but more often than not, he gets the dub. I'm picking Mads Burnell here. I think that he's just more of a dog than JJ Wilson. Let's see. He's going to be the smaller man in there. But yeah, man, I always root for Mads Burnell, dude. I can never really pick against him. The guy's got insane pace that he puts on people, and if you can match his pace, you can beat him. But I don't think that JJ Wilson will. I'm picking Mads Burnell by dominant decision. How about you?
Dominant decision, you said.
Yeah.
Interesting. Didn't Mads Burnell, isn't that like he like was the only person that Pedro Carvalho had beat in like the last 25
Oh God,
years?
that's embarrassing.
That's a bad loss.
That is bad.
And yeah, and JJ Wilson, I'm pretty sure he finished him or something like that. He finished Pedro Carvalho.
You did.
You did? Yeah.
Didn't Pedro Carvalho didn't he beat Mads Burnell and then go on to fight Patricio Pitbull and get knocked out in like a second?
He fought Aaron Pico. I'm pretty sure.
I just
He got
remember
knocked out in
Pedro.
like a second.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me check. He got knocked out by Aaron Pico. Yeah, he got knocked out by Patricio Pitbull, but that was before he fought Mads Burnell.
Okay, it's even more embarrassing.
Yeah, he also got knocked out in a minute by Brendan Loughnane, which is like, I mean, that guy can bang, but yeah, but like, my thing is also like, I could see JJ Wilson. He's 27 now. It's like an age where you're kind of getting on the other end of like I guess the hump of becoming experienced enough to be like real comfortable in there.
Yeah,
You're
you're
like
into
seeing
your
some
prime.
of his best stuff potentially. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure I like the fact that he's competing in grappling tournaments and like going against guys like Aljo. That's a good look. You know, it's actually the same reason why I was always so high on Sean O'Malley and was like one of the people that was willing to look stupid for a while, saying that he'd become a champion, was because I would watch UFC Fight Pass and just like the random grappling tournaments that were on there and just other random grappling tournaments, and all of a sudden Sean O'Malley would just show up. And I'm not even talking like just ones on UFC Fight Pass. I was talking like random ones, and he would just show up and like he would lose to black belts, but like you put yourself in that position, it's always it's like you're willing to lose because your end goal is to get that kind of experience. Some people
Right.
fight and they just like don't want to lose in the gym and they get real prideful, and to go and be grappling against somebody like Aljo, just to get in that experience is a really good look. And as much as it's like Mads Burnell is a grappling guy. He's got most of his wins. I mean, he has very few wins by knockout, right? He's only got a couple of wins by KO. The
Yeah, he
rest of
doesn't have a
them
lot of
by
power.
he got one knockout by one knockout, but he got 9 submission wins. To be getting that kind of experience in the grappling department will serve him well, I think, in this fight. So uh yeah, I don't know. I like that he was able to get through Barnally and not get submitted. And that guy is a submission hunter. Um, I don't think that Mads Burnell is going to submit him. I think that you could get a pretty good performance from JJ Wilson just because at 27, you're like mentally there to where like you might not be as overwhelmed or as as frantic. He's getting towards being like more veteran.
Yeah,
I think you might get the best out of him. He's going to be in his physical prime. Maz Burnell might be on the other side of it a little bit, but
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if I end up being wrong.
yeah. Mads Burnell, 31, but has a lot of experience, so seems like a little older of a fighter, like, older in fight years. But yeah, JJ Wilson, I mean, only one loss, and his last win is over Mansour Boundary, so definitely a good look. No Chill says he's got JJ to catch Mads in a guillotine. Good to see not in the Ambro, or as he's rebranded himself, Boob. Ask Ginger Hank why he has his hoodie half on.
I'm not going to acknowledge a guy named Boob just in general. I think he closes the fridge door with his hip, so and he named himself Boob. I'm all set
Yeah,
with him.
change your name back. This is not Ginger Hank though. This is Big Red. Big Red actually is part of the reason why I started a podcast with Hank. He's partly responsible.
That makes me sound like me and him are boys. That's my boy. Huh?
Not so much. Hopefully we see a different Sean against Marab. This time he was so flat in their last fight. Yeah, I don't even think. I think he should get a win before he gets the title shot again, personally. All right, cool. No Chill, thank you for joining. No Chill has been teasing a big video coming out, so be sure to check that out on his channel. Appreciate you, man. Why does Dylan look like Bella Ramsey?
Like we know who that is.
I don't know who that is. Is that like Gordon Ramsay's daughter?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the guy, it's probably like some actress. I don't know. Maybe he's a theater kid. We don't watch that. We don't do that. All right, this is an MMA channel.
No,
All right,
no
you
theater
can
kids
keep
allowed.
your pencil neck. You can keep your pencil neck theater kid stuff out of here.
It's all Big Red's fault. No. It's like 90% my fault and 10% Big Red's fault.
Yeah, mostly.
Not the Ambrose says you're triggered, but I think that's a little bit of triggeredness from him. Ellie from the Last of Us show, the retarded looking girl. Interesting.
What show? Okay, whatever. I don't even, dude. I just found out who like Zendaya is or whatever. I don't know.
I
Who
still
people
don't
like
know who
pop
that
culture.
is. I've heard the name quite a bit though.
I thought it was Jenna Ortega. I thought I was mixing them up. I thought it was Jenna Ortega. I don't know who Billie Eilish is either.
Yeah, MMA trivia show. This guy kills it. By the way, No Chill is running from Big Red. He's
Yeah,
ducking the
he's
smoke on
running.
MMA nerd.
No chill. I've been wanting this matchup. You have not even remotely acknowledged my call out.
That's
You're
true.
like, he actually sent me a DM and he's like, hey man, like maybe we can like, maybe we can get matched up, in the later rounds so I don't get knocked out early. I want to make a good show. I gotta get
Hey,
my
you know what? The
subscribers up, but
return
I
of
can't be
MMA
out here
nerd.
looking like a fool.
The return of MMA
Was-
nerd might have to be Big Red versus No Chill for the first episode.
Oh, I absolutely. I already got a W.
Oh shit.
No, I
Yeah,
already have two
dude,
W's
let's
if you
do it.
match me up against him.
I'll hit him up. We'll get this done. Next fight, Dalton Rasta versus Sadabu C at 185. Dalton Rasta 9-1. His only loss is to Aaron Jeffrey. Funny enough, this is a pick'em. He's 29. 4-1 in his last 5. Sadabu C 17-8-2. Crazy record. He is 3-2 in his last 5. -125 is the favorite. He's 38 now. Sadabu C won 2 tournaments, right?
Sadabu C won. He won the. I thought he only won one.
Okay.
He lost. I think he lost in the championship. against Magomed Karamov.
Yeah.
He won one.
Dalton Rasta is a guy who had some good performances in Bellator. Um, pretty young when he, was fighting in Bellator coming up. But I'm not really so sure. And he was a big middleweight for Bellator. He's in PFL now. Largely a striker, has pretty good wrestling. I don't know. I haven't seen him face like too much adversity though. Sada Busi is a veteran at this point. Obviously has some Muay Thai fights, some good spinny shit he throws. I considered picking Dalton Rasta because I feel like Sada Busi definitely on the decline at 38. But I think this is largely just going to be a striking match. I do feel like if Dalton Rasta can switch it up, he can get the dub. But I am going to go with Sada Busi here to get the decision, just basically outstriking him.
So there's got to be like a 7-inch reach disadvantage for
Yeah, let me look at that real quick.
for
80
Dalton
inch.
Rasta.
You weren't far off. It's 6 inches. Sada
That
Busi.
it's like Sada Busi is tall as shit. Like he's like his reach is ridiculous, and he throws kicks from range. And he's like six. Was he 6'3", 6'4", something like that?
6'3".
He can throw some real kicks from range, and I don't see him getting. I don't see Dalton Rosta getting on the inside of Sadabusi at all. Like he lost to Magomed Karamov by submission, and there's clearly not that game in his opponent. Like Dalton Ross is not going to submit him. Other than that, he's only got losses. He got a loss by injury. He lost by decision. Look who it's really lost to. I mean, losing to Franca, UFC veteran. He got finished in that fight. That was in 2019. But then he's lost to Bruno Santos and Abus Magomedov. He's on the UFC. I mean, he's got his losses are against some real competition. I'm pretty sure that his only loss that isn't against somebody that's like and was already been in the UFC or isn't Josh Silveira is like maybe what like is the beginning of his career, like
Right.
the very beginning. Like those are no slouches, and also I am I am a little skewed because I was there when he fought against David Michoud, and he finished him in 17 seconds with a body kick. That was so okay. So I'll tell you the story about this one. It was like really early in the card, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure this was like the third fight. I'm gonna click. It's like the third fight, and there was like nobody there yet. You know, this is like 2019 ish. I want to say. Yeah, it was 2019 in May, and it was in New York. Yeah, I took my little brother to this because he got good grades that semester, and so it was like just outside of New York City. So we were there, and it was the Machado fight was the first fight on where is this thing? It's the first fight on the main card. Yeah, that's it. And like people were just funneling in. People who were there like didn't even nobody was at the prelims, and there was people just funneling in. So he gets the knockout in 17 seconds, and it's like I don't know. There was like maybe a person or two, maybe I'd say like three people every row at the most, and like then in the upper sections there was nobody. So it was just like silent when he did it, and everybody did like was like walking into their seats at the most, and so it was like so anticlimactic. You could hear Michelle going, "Oh, oh," and I just remember my brother like looking at each other, we're like, "Yeah, Sonic yeah, yeah." Like, woo! And we could like hear ourselves screaming. It was so weird, and I've never checked the broadcast for it, but I just wonder if you can hear I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna check that. I'm not gonna pull it up right now, but I'm gonna check it on my
Yeah.
own accord and see if I can't just hear myself because it was fucking silent there. I'm like, it was like so silent that I wasn't sure if I was like I had seen like what I thought I saw or if like it was like some sort of freak thing that nobody wanted to cheer for or something.
Right.
But it was silent as shit. You know, it was weird. It was really weird.
Well, at least he had Big Red in the crowd to cheer for him. By the way, Andrew B says, "What's up, Big Red? Good to see you,
Hey, what's
Andrew B."
up? What's up, homie?
Hippo says you versus Hank on Karate Combat's influencer fight league needs to happen. That's how you blow up the channel. Your beef would be unmatched. I would agree to that. I would agree to that. I'm down. I think he is like 2 or 3 weight classes above me, but it doesn't matter. Speed beats power, right? Dylan, do you see me? And he sees you, Andrew. Good to see Barcher. I gotta have Barcher on. He's like a BKFC like savant, so I gotta have him on sometime to preview a BKFC show for sure. Good to see Tress in the chat as well. I am doing well, Andrew. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think Dalton Rasta is kind of a guy that was like victim of terrible Bellator matchmaking. That didn't really have anybody good for him to fight, and then now he's in the PFL. So, all right, next fight is Gadzi Robotinov versus Mark DeCasey at 155. Gadzi is 24-4-2 on a 5-fight winning streak in his last 5. Minus 540. I think he's the biggest favorite on the card. He is 31. Mark DeCasey, 18-7. 3-2 in his last 5, plus 360 as the underdog, 32 years old. From England, Mark DeCasey, he got a win against Caio Fernandez in the UFC. His last fight in the UFC, and then they just cut him. I think that Mark DeCasey was like a striker at first, and then he just started wrestling fools, and I think that they just kind of soured on him. He's pretty well-rounded, but not great at anything. Gadzi Robotinov has been on a tear lately, just whooping up on everybody. I think that whatever Mark DeCasey brings to this fight, Gadzi Robotinov is just better. But Mark DeCasey is, he's still relatively young. Fought some decent names. I'm going to pick Gadzi Robotinov by decision. I don't think he finishes Mark DeCasey, but what are you thinking on this one, Big Red?
I mean, Mark DeCasey has been average, I guess. I mean, ever since he got that knockout over known dead person, Timu Pak Lane in the UFC, and he did the breakdance move. You remember that whole thing? You remember that?
I think I do, but again, I only started watching in 2019. I do remember when Mark DeCasey was like more of a striker. So maybe that was
he joined the UFC. He fought Timu Pak Lane so he had a couple fights and they were like duds, but he came in with a shit ton of hype. I mean, a shit ton. He came in undefeated. I remember this. Mark DeCasey came in undefeated to the UFC. There was big hype because I think he had just his last 2 fights that right before then were like inside of a minute. And he came in undefeated, and then he won by knockout in his first fight. It was kind of a boring-ish fight. Then he got a decision against somebody. I can't remember who it was. But then he fought Timu Pak Lane, who is the guy who got knocked out by Atman Azaitar in that scary knockout.
God.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, that known dead person. That's why I call him known dead person. By the way, I'm pretty sure that ended Pak Lane's career against Atman Azaitar. He never fought again, actually. Yeah. So he did that, and everyone was all hyped on him. And then he fought Jakar Close, lost, got finished by Dan Hooker. His best win from that point forward in his career was over Lando Venata, who is
whatever happened to Lando Venata?
What?
Whatever happened to Lando Venata?
Well, he's still in the UFC. He never got cut.
Wow.
He lost his last 2 fights. I know that for sure, but he's still in the UFC. I mean, everybody has his claim to fame. The wheel kick over John McDessie, and then almost beating Tony Ferguson.
Almost, yeah. When Tony was
almost beat him,
great.
which is fucking crazy. Yeah, but I don't know. He doesn't have the wins recently to make me like super excited about him. But I also don't like. I don't know. I don't know enough about Robotinov to like be super excited about him either. I don't think that DeCasey has the takedown defense to stop anything that he's gonna do to him. To be honest with you, I mean, he's been submitted 3 times. It's almost half of his losses. He's gonna get out grappled. I think he'll probably get submitted by I don't know, rear naked choke. Nah, not even submitted. Yeah, I think he loses a 30-27 to fight. Gives it at
Yeah.
least 5 minutes control time minimum, if not more, and then
Doubled up on strikes.
I think the final strike count will be 21 to 125, something like
Damn!
that.
Holy shit!
All ground strikes. All ground
Yeah,
strikes. He'll get
he's
outstruck
actually pretty good.
123 to
He's
1
been
to
he's
0
on a
on the
2-fight
ground.
knockout streak. He's looking good in the striking, but he basically knocked out like nobodies and then Brent Primus. So,
Andrew,
give me
hold on. I'm confused. What do you mean trade your comment?
hold on, I'll get to it. They're giving me advice on my karate combat fight with Hank. Punch up, not down. Something tells me Hank would cry when being struck, or he'd be like Bobby Boucher and like just instant rage would come over him. Like if you talk about water not being great, something tells
You
me sweep
spit
the
in
leg. Yeah.
the cooler.
Andrew says, Dylan, do you like Hank or not?
I'm not part of that beef. It's not my beef. It's not.
Good answer.
And
We're
for the
trying to
love
move
of
on from that,
God,
guys.
I think
It's a
that it
different
should
channel.
be. If I have not made it abundantly clear from the fact that my own channel says my channel is trash, don't subscribe to me. I'm not a YouTube streamer, and the fact that I just completely abandoned it despite people joining my streams, I don't get involved in YouTube anything. So no, I'm not getting dragged into that one. I'm certainly
Yeah.
not going to incidentally get dragged into anything that No Chill's cooked up. So especially not that. If No Chill's touched it, it ain't gonna work me up. I'm not getting involved. Andrew, you're my homie.
Smart
That's
man.
for sure.
Yeah, for real.
God, I hate this fucking sport.
Fight his dad
Um,
first or after?
He says, Dylan, are you still my homie? If you trade my comment, you are not homie.
Don't know what that means. I'm sorry, Andrew.
He
I
said-
don't want
he
to
said
trade your
many
comment
times
because you are
you're
my
his
homie. Yeah, he's my homie,
Uh,
so I don't want to trade his comment.
Charlie says, DKC loses this one. Yeah. Do you have
Yeah.
to fight his dad first or after? It probably would be after. I think they book. It depends on how I look, right? They probably book me versus Hank first, and then if I, depending on how I be in, probably have me in there with his pops. Okay, I gave you. All right, good, Andrew B. Boob says,
I don't give a fuck if the decision's rigged.
shout out to you. Change your name back to not in the AM, bro. All right.
What
here we go.
decision was rigged?
Oh, that's what he said. So every time they comment a Hankism, I have to play it. That's the rules.
No. What decision was rigged?
That particular fight that Hank was screaming about was Rebecca.
Oh, he's quoting him. He's quoting him, right?
Yeah, it's a quote. Just a quote.
I remember that. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Final fight, main event, Kasagany versus Fabian Edwards at middleweight.
Impa.
Kasagany, 18-5, 3-2 in his last 5, minus 180 is the favorite. He is 31. Fabian Edwards, 13-4. He is 3-2 in his last 5, plus 140 as the underdog. Fabian Edwards, man. I mean, he had a really good run in Bellator. I believe he beat Gegard to become the champion in Bellator, I think. And then he lost to Eblin. He has a win over Aaron Jeffrey is his last win, and then lost the has 2 losses to Eblin. Those are his 2 most recent losses. Kasagany, obviously losing to Johnny Eblin in a robbery.
No.
Basically.
Fake news. See, I was gonna say they're gonna say that Eblin also beat Impa, but no, the fuck he didn't. No, the fuck he didn't. Go watch the fight. It never happened. Impa beat the shit out of him. Fucking Eblin should have been over 2, and that OnlyFans girlfriend that he had, that one that was like, "Oh, if you lose this fight, I'm gonna break up with you." He should be broken up with. And also, bitch, you're really gonna date a girl that's gonna do that? You're a bitch. And he bought her $80,000 worth of like luxury goods before that. Then she said she's done with him if he loses, and then he lost, and then he gets the decision. Like, what did he buy 80,000 for the fucking judges too? What was that? What the fuck was that? She should have.
I don't give a fuck if the decision's rigged.
Real,
Big
he would have
Red.
gone out there, gotten the win, then got on the mic and been like, "Fuck my girlfriend. I am getting that shit back from her.
Fuck that bitch.
Fuck her. I'm breaking up with that bitch. Who in the crowd wants me? That'd be real. That'd be gangster." Evelyn has this big head. Why? Because you're dating her? Because you're dating her? Oh, I would rather be 0-16. I would rather be 0-16. 16 losses than be dating a girl like that. $80,000. Got finessed. Impa beat him. She beat him. It's Impa. It's Impa time. Period.
Speaking of Impa, his last loss is to Davletstan
Impa could
Yagshirmuradov
never. Impa would
by
never.
knockout. Which I don't really think that's a bad loss. I picked Davletstan to win that fight. I think he's really underrated. But that was 4 months ago. So I mean, is there any concern? I never like when a fighter comes back after being knocked out in less than 6 months, personally.
Yeah, I mean the knockout wasn't like.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't like a brutal knockout.
Yeah, and I
was
mean it
basically
wasn't.
kind of a
You know what's
TKO.
crazy? You know what's crazy is, Impa Kasagany is. I think that he's only. I think he's only like a year older than me. He looks like he's like. He looks like he's like 35, 36. Guy's like just turned 31, which
Yeah.
so he's got like a lot of legs left on him. I was wondering like how old is he getting? Like, is he getting up there? No, he's like he's not at all. He's still youthful. Fabian Edwards is actually older than him, which was surprising
Wow.
to
Okay.
me.
Yeah, that puts it into perspective. So yeah, I think like Fabian Edwards can look good, matchup dependent. His biggest rival in Bellator, I remember, was Costello Van Steenis, and he had a tough fight with the guy. Beating Gegard is definitely an awesome win. But yeah, Fabian, it's just the Edwards brothers in general. They have a way to really just make you root against them. Clean striking, technical striking, decent grappling. But they just have a way of stinking up the joint, and that's what Fabian Edwards is going to try to do here against Impa Kasagany. I got Impa to win this fight by decision, based off of just doing more, not stalling the fight. He's going to out volume Fabian Edwards. Fabian Edwards is going to try to clinch him once he, gets close and starts hitting him with some shots. There'll be lots of clinching from Fabian. I'm really hoping this fight doesn't suck. But yeah, I do have Impa Kasagany to pretty much just handily beat him just about everywhere. But I do think that when the Edwards bros, and the reason I keep roping Leon into this analysis is because they just fight so similar. I do feel like once they're on a roll in a fight. But something about them just not being able to put a stamp on anything is why they lose a lot of their fights. Obviously, Leon went on a great run, but yeah, just you can see as of late, it's a mentality thing, in my opinion, is what hangs in the balance when they fight.
Yeah. Also, Fabian Edwards debatably lost to Mike Shipman not too long ago. I don't know how
Mike
long ago
Shipman
that
of all
was. Yeah, I don't know how long ago that was, but I can't get that out of my head. The Gegard win is just such an anomaly. I think if you take that out altogether, it just wouldn't even like. I don't think that people would be thinking nearly as much of him as they are.
Well, yeah,
And
they kind of built Fabian for so long to get that title fight against Gegard. So yeah, that was like the defining moment of his career, and since then, I mean, he hasn't really
38
looked great.
years old, yeah, 38-year-old Gegard Mousasi. Like not only that, but like Gegard Mousasi, who had one fight in the last year leading up to it, like
Right.
over the last calendar year, and then had one fight before that in the last his activity was he fought once every more than a year leading up to that, and I can't give that much stock to it. I think that Impa Kasang and I would have done the same in that fight.
Right.
Frankly,
Right.
I just do. Impa's just whoa. I'm not sure we'll restart in 5 minutes. Okay, weird. Yeah, and he also beat Eblin, and Eblin finished Fabian Edwards, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Beat him
Yeah.
twice. Finished
I
him
mean,
the first time.
I'm such a MMA math person, and it comes back to bite me. The other thing is like, Impa Kasagany's lost his fights mostly by getting knocked out. Mostly by getting knocked out. Fabian Edwards is not gonna knock him out.
Right.
He's not. Like, when was his last knockout? He knocked out Lyoto Machida when Machida was 53.
Yeah.
Literally might have been.
Yeah, that's
Literally
not
might
far
have
off.
been 53. He was 50. He was 44, dude. He was 44 years old. What a douche.
What a douche. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like they wanted Fabian to get that title fight so bad and finally got it. Actually ends up getting the win. And then since then, not much else.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for the event.
Yeah.
I am.
No, I'm picking all decisions. I'm thinking there'll be a few finishes on the card. But yeah, man, like I said, man, PFL has been solid this year. And really, I thought last year they were looking good too. Bringing back the elbows is definitely something they should have done a long time ago, but just gets people more hyped,
You know why they took him out? Because it'd be hard to do a tournament style and have 2 fights in a day if you get a cut.
Yeah.
I just never really cared all that much about the absence of the elbows. I don't know why. Like, if I think about most fights, it doesn't play its gigantic role in a lot of
this ain't
fights.
Lumpini Stadium, Muay Thai.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. I just like, I feel like you can get perfectly entertaining knockouts and striking battles without having them. I mean, I guess like if you're somebody who really likes to watch like somebody put a land elbows from like the guard, which plays a big role because it does play a factor in like if you control the wrists in the in the guard, or somebody's in mount and you're trying to hold them by the wrist, they can still drop elbows on you, which is a big deal. Which if you're talking about that from a strategic standpoint, it does negate things sometimes, but like, I don't know, for entertainment value as a fan, I don't think it's really changed that much of it. I think it's a principal thing in most people.
Right. Well, shit, man. You did a great job breaking down the card. Glad you could help me out on this one. PFL superfan, Big Red. You have anything to say to the people before we end the stream?
Yeah, keep causing chaos so that Idaho has stuff to call me about, because it's always entertaining. Especially you, No Skill. Especially you. Keep your unhingedness going. Let it roll.
It's a good troll. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm trying to, move on from that, but the last week and a half has been just one of the more entertaining times of my life on the MMA YouTube. So, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna let you anyways.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, man. So Dylan, you come on the show whenever, man, and during these PFL cards, I'd definitely like to have you on again.
Literally will join. If you're doing a fight companion for this, I'll do the fight companion. I'll hop on there.
All right, bet. Yeah, we are. So, all right, brother. Well, that's it for us, guys. Like and subscribe, all that fantastic stuff. Doing a live chat tomorrow. Lots of shows going down. So, with that,
Western Mass. I'll do that sometime soon, I guess.
It's time to wrap it up.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that up, B.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Man, you want some too? You better wrap it up. You better wrap that gavel up, B.